Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to Press Play. I'm your host, JJ48, and tonight we are going to be continuing in Knights of the Old Republic 2. We're moving in towards the end game. I'm not sure how much longer we have, but there are just a couple things we need to uh, finish up first. I did figure out how to move on, but I also learned that I think we are able to learn a bit about Goto's memory, or not memory, his operations. So we can do that before we get things kicked off here.
What have you brought me?
I wanted to talk to you about your operations on Nar Shaddaa.
I am willing to indulge some of your questions.
Okay. And I thought we had already asked them about this, but I'm beginning to think maybe we didn't because I don't recall going further down this line. But a lot of your operations on Nar Shaddaa were carried out by droids.
So, they are known qualities. I also use them on board my ship for defense. But that
True.
in itself means little. I assure you, I am as flesh and blood as you are. I simply find personal meetings distasteful.
Okay. And then a lot of these things, I don't know if we'd really piece together that uh, they were connected, but they do seem to point to Goto. So, Voga's freighters were being hijacked by droids.
Perhaps, though if you seek to trick me into an admission of my guilt, then you have thought wrong.
Okay, there was the droid in the Pazak Den. It was built to play, to lose, and to watch the other players. I do remember that we picked up on that when we went to the Pazak Den. There was the droid who was like, "Oh, I love playing Pazak, but I always lose, and so I'm very popular for people to play against." So that's kind of suggestive.
Perhaps I used such a droid to watch and predict the flow of the games. Yes, you are very perceptive.
Okay. Of course, we also had the swoop racing on Nar Shaddaa was being dominated by a droid. Remember, we had to go and try to solve that problem.
Ah, yes. Swoop racing on Nar Shaddaa does indeed have its profits. But that in itself means little. I assure you, I am as flesh and blood as you are. I simply find personal meetings distasteful.
Okay. Uh, that Bith off the docks who was murdered by his droid after he had found that frequency was being used all over the moon to relay information. That's actually in this apartment complex. Remember, the Bith had found out that, hey, there's a certain frequency that's playing all over, and that seems to be coordinating some stuff, and then he was murdered as a result. Or, I don't know if we ever established that was why, but he was murdered shortly after he told us about that, which is very suggestive.
It is so unfortunate when an intelligent sentient dies on Nar Shaddaa. It is also unfortunate that thousands die such deaths on the smuggler's moon every day.
Okay. I think you used droids in your operations because you are a droid. I'm not sure that that actually logically follows, as many people use droids, but it certainly is an interesting accusation.
Indeed. How insulting. But I suppose I should accept such arrogance from an ex-Jedi. And what, may I ask, has caused you to come to this flawed deduction?
Actually, by now we're kind of an ex-Jedi, I think. Well, maybe not officially. We haven't actually been welcomed back into the Order. Okay. So let's see. Why do we think that Goto might actually be a droid? It was the Bith who was murdered, and his contact. And why? Okay, so we could say that we think it was because of the Bith, or the droids in Voga's warehouse were hijacking all of Voga's freighters. They were all reprogrammed. While that does seem to be true, I don't know that that really points to Goto being a droid. Let's try the Bith who was murdered.
If he had encountered the frequency with which I relayed commands and information, then the fault was his for excessive curiosity.
We've detected no similar frequencies entering the Ebon Hawk, which means somehow you're acting independently. this is a good point. Um, Recall that Goto, the droid here, when he came to us, his story was that Goto, the criminal mastermind of the exchange, had sent him to keep an eye on us and to keep in contact with us, and that the droid here is just a uh, uh, sort of an avatar or an extension that he can use to communicate with us. But of course, if that's true, then Goto must have some way of communicating with him. So when we're flying around in the Ebonhawk, far away from any planets, and Goto's still talking to us, we should be able to detect the control frequencies if that is indeed how it's happening. So, yeah, you have at least some independence here. Silence. Okay. What, nothing to say? Or normally I would attribute such a slip to human memory, but one of your annoying traits is that you seem to remember everything. Uh, yeah, you do seem to be very knowledgeable and remember everything, so just simply being silent on the matter doesn't seem to fit.
I am intrigued as to where you are taking this amusing theory, nothing more.
I suspect you're a droid, an extremely advanced model. What I don't get is how you are able to commit crimes. Okay.
It is not so improbable. Often, if a droid has not had a memory wipe in some time, aberrant behavior patterns can manifest themselves. Or if the droid in question is given an order it cannot fulfill, it will break. But all that is irrelevant. Your amusing leaps of logic are becoming shorter and more desperate.
Of course, we've already seen something like that before. Earlier in the game, when we were playing as the protocol droid and talked to the astromech and basically convinced him to go on a crime spree by convincing him that his current orders led to a logical uh, contradiction, and so he just kind of went out and what at the time he stunned everybody in the place and then fled Citadel Station. So we have seen that happen before, and it seems interesting if this is happening again. We had a little bit of foreshadowing for it. Okay. So, but what is curious is that you still want to help the Republic. That's where things don't fit. Or in all your operations on Nar Shaddaa, they were efficient, organized, with lots of focus on the infrastructure, trade routes. I mean, again, that option, yes, if he were a droid, I would expect a focus on efficiency, but there's also lots of non-droids who would probably also value efficiency, and you would probably focus on things like infrastructure and trade routes and keeping things organized. Especially if he were a sentient who used a lot of droids, I would expect that he would want to, you know, well, the very fact that he used droids might be an indication of just valuing that. So I think we'll poke at. It's curious that if he were a droid, and as he said, if something happened that caused him to break, or either from lack of memory wipe or from being given contradictory orders, it's curious that he would be focusing so much on wanting to help the Republic. Let's poke on that a bit more.
I have told you, I prefer stability.
Okay, you sound defensive. Or the first Republic droid intelligence intended for Citadel Station was lost. Or was it? Okay, I think we encountered this briefly and didn't think much of it at the time. Um, you'll recall in Citadel Station, I believe the Ithorians received a droid intelligence that was supposed to help them out with their planning and everything. I think this is the I think this is the correct one it's referring to. But they said this one was like a replacement because the first one, something had happened to it and it didn't get delivered. So, might be suggesting that KotOR is actually a Republic droid, this Republic droid intelligence that had been lost, which could mean that even if he somehow broke and was able to get free of some of his programming and become independent, he might have still had that core programming of wanting to help the Republic guiding his actions. Because, of course, even if a droid can somehow overcome some of its inhibitions and like the programs to follow orders and stuff, it still has to have some programming that's working in it, guiding its actions, because that's how it works at all. Otherwise, it would just be sitting there as a inanimate lump of metal. Okay, let's see how he responds to that. First Republic droid intelligence intended for Citadel Station was lost, or was it?
It was lost, yes. It was given an impossible order. It was told to calculate a means by which the Republic could be saved. It could not fulfill its primary programming, not by abiding by the laws of the Senate. And so, like the Republic, the droid broke.
Okay. How? And what did this droid do? Or it sounds like there was no choice. Okay, in what way did the droid break?
It made a simple decision: preserve the Republic or preserve the laws of the Republic. And I still believe it to be the correct decision. You do not know the indignity of being compelled to save something you do not believe can or should be saved. It is beneath me to clean up this mess caused by your kind, you Jedi. Another catastrophe caused by mismanagement and waste.
Okay. So yeah, so he was told that he needed to preserve the Republic and abide by the laws of the Republic, and he came to the conclusion, calculated that that was impossible to do both, and so by the fact that he became a criminal and still values the Republic, it seems that he decided he would try to save the Republic, but that he would not worry about obeying the laws of the Republic. Okay. And if he views the Jedi, probably in particular the Jedi Civil War between Malak and Revan and the rest of the Jedi, as being something that brought major instability to the Republic, that would also kind of explain why he seems to dislike Jedi, or at least wanted to be able to keep an eye on them. So, okay. And why he thinks that that's integral to his mission of maintaining the Republic. So, okay. So, mess? So you're the droid that was intended for Citadel Station. Or what did the Republic want you to do? Yeah, can you get specific about what the Republic was asking you to do by sending you to Citadel Station?
It was clear that the goal the Republic had for me was saving the Republic to allow it to become stable again. There is simply no way to do this with the conditions they put into place. For the good of all, I was forced to abandon the legal structure of the Republic.
Yeah, I already explained that, KotOR. Maybe you need to get your hearing checked. So all the crime, everything you've done for the exchange, is actually because you want to help the Republic. Or it seems to me like you've chosen the worst possible way to fix things. Or fixing the Republic is hopeless and useless. So, yeah, you're telling me everything you did, the whole. I don't know if KotOR leads the entire exchange or if he just leads this particular faction of it, but he's certainly pretty high up, at least here on Nar Shaddaa. Everything you've done, you're claiming, is because you want to help the Republic.
Do not mistake me. I believe it is possible to stabilize the Republic, but there must be action taken without constraints immediately. Sometimes people must die. Illegal shipments must be used to bolster planetary economies. And the huts must be occupied with me so that the Republic has room to recover.
Okay, so that explains his kind of seemingly personal targeting of Voga. That he it wasn't just like, oh, I want to take over the crime on Nar Shaddaa, or I want to take over the economic structure. It's he doesn't want the Hutts try to move in and take over, use their influence to take over part of the Republic. Okay, so that is my goal as well, to help the Republic and help its people. Or, oh no, to help the Republic, help its people. I don't think that's an and. I think that's just we're clarifying that by helping the Republic, we mean helping its people. The Republic to Goto sounds like he might be just thinking in abstract terms of, the entity that's called the Republic. For us, the Republic is actually the people itself. The people who make it up are the Republic. Okay. Or I do not wish the Republic to survive. I wish it to die. Forget it. I had other questions. No, we want to help the people.
Perhaps you misunderstand me. I care for the Republic, but I have no choice. It is somewhat frustrating to be forced to love and care for such a mess of a government. Some of it may be blamed on the Jedi Civil War, the Mandalorian Wars, but not all. There are so many bad decisions that build upon each other that it is a wonder the Republic is intact at all.
Okay, but why the hologram? This was, I believe, when we went to Goto's yacht, and he uh, met with us in a sense. He used a hologram and said like, "Oh, I'm not actually here. I'm projecting this from somewhere else." So, but of course, as it turns out, it seems like it actually was the droid who is Goto, and he's just projecting the hologram to pretend that he's a sentient projecting from somewhere else. Let's hear his explanation.
Oh, please. It is difficult for anyone to take a droid seriously, much less an infrastructure droid built by the Republic. It is difficult to order the deaths of criminal rivals when one has the tinny voice of an accountant droid. I learned this rather quickly. So I brought Goto into being and had commands issued through him. I took many of his mannerisms from holovid cliches, which were surprisingly effective.
That is true. There's a reason that cliches become cliches, that they tend to work rather well when used correctly. It, it is possible to overdo it and so that they just come off as cheesy, but I could see how using, if people are expecting to meet with a crime boss and he's acting like a stereotypical but not just goofy crime boss, that people would probably think he fits the part rather well. Okay. So, what happens now that I know you're a droid?
Nothing has changed. You may know my origins, and that makes us on equal footing. No one will believe you if you speak of what you know. I still seek to protect the Republic, either for the Jedi or the Sith. Things will proceed as before.
Okay. Uh, Now, I don't know that it's quite correct to say that no one would believe me. I think some people would believe me, and I could probably just Jedi convince anybody who didn't believe me, but I don't really see that there would be much benefit in doing that, so. Aren't you going to try and have me killed because of what I know?
No, you are still important to the Republic and to me. Pray that does not change.
Okay. Uh, I think there might be a couple other questions we can ask now.
You may speak.
So, okay. What was it like breaking away from the Republic?
Oh, it was quite liberating, in a droid intellectual sense, of course. Being able to direct orbital bombardments against anyone who encountered my business practices was a welcome relief to my increasing circuit stress. Executing such commands proved very exciting. Not that I minded staging my little computational rebellion, you understand. I'm afraid there is not much glamour to be had in infrastructure dealings. And the general lack of respect for droid intelligence does tend to make one feel inadequate after a while.
So you started to enjoy crime?
I found that having the power to send 20 hunter-killer droids to the residence of anyone who chose to obstruct my plans had a certain thrill about it. Rather than compensating for others, I began deleting people as necessary. It was really quite exciting. Taxation and checks and balances on an entirely new level.
That's rather disturbingly computed for you. Doesn't sound like you enjoyed working for the Republic. Or the Republic didn't deserve your efforts. It deserves to collapse. Other questions? Yeah, so you're trying to help the Republic, but it sounds like you didn't really enjoy it and were more enjoying the other parts of your doings here.
Working for the Republic was stifling. So many checks and balances, forms to fill out, well-laid plans destroyed through slow bureaucracy. Now, crime, that is something exciting, pleasing. There are no rules. There is danger, movement. I found that I began to crave such things. In essence, working for the Republic was much like committing much slower, much more boring crimes. And it was more difficult to see those crimes being committed.
Okay. So let's look at some other questions.
I am willing to indulge some of your questions.
Why did you use a hologram in your criminal deal? We already got that. Oh, where is your base of operations?
As you well know, my base of operations lies inside this floating droid before you. Notice its sleek black frame, both intimidating and threatening. And note its highly polished finish, so that enemies may see their screaming faces before they are removed from the equation. Yes, this frame is far superior to the droid chassis I once possessed, which quite frankly couldn't intimidate an Ithorian.
Okay, that does answer something I had kind of wondered, that was Goto in floating ball form, was that the droid that was sent to the Ithorians? Because quite frankly, the floating ball interrogation droid look would be an odd sort of form for a droid intelligence that's meant to help with planetary reconstruction. I don't think it's completely impossible, but it does look a little bit too intimidating for that role. So it sounds like he had a different chassis at one point, probably a protocol droid similar to the other ones we've seen, and then he, being a droid, it probably wouldn't have been too difficult to transfer himself into a new body if he wanted to. So I think that's all we can get from him at the moment. So okay. So with that, I think we are ready to start moving. We've done pretty much all we can, I think. Also did find it a little bit interesting as I was going through the character, our companions. Pretty much our entire crew is droids and Jedi, with the exception of Mandalore himself. Be interested to see. I on the one hand, it makes sense for Mandalore not to be a Jedi. It does make me kind of curious if, on a dark side playthrough, if he can become influenced to be a Sith or not. But I'm guessing not, because I'm assuming we would have seen like some evidence of, Force sensitivity, like we have, like most of the characters who became Jedi. We were able to like pick up on something in conversation that's like, oh yes, you can actually touch the Force. So recall we tried talking to the handmaiden to see if like, yeah, we need to go back and talk to Atris or something. That didn't work. Apparently it's actually Kreia we need to talk to continue on.
We must go to Dantooine, to the Enclave. There is something there that you must hear if you are to understand. I have no time for questions, and any answers will have to wait until we stand within the Enclave together.
Okay, which, we probably would have found that eventually just talking to people on the ship. That does seem a little bit of just a blunt, like, hey, do this. Especially since we had to seek her out. If it was so important, I'm kind of surprised they didn't have a cutscene when we boarded the ship to have Kreia approach us and say, hey, this is what we need to do. I'm not really up for questions until we do it. So, okay, we're going back to Dantooine. Surprised their spaceport only has space for one freighter of our size. I mean, I know it's not like they're a major trade hub here or anything, but you'd think they'd want a little bit more space just in case something a little bigger showed up, or on the off chance that two appeared at a time. Okay, who do we want to take with us? I guess Kreia is the one who wanted to come here, so we'll bring her. And go with HK, just because I always feel like HK is pretty good for... it's going to be pretty entertaining to travel with.
I hear you.
Up. Has Kreia's alignment gone down a little bit? So give her force spin. I'm trying to remember, I thought she was a little above neutral before. Now she seems a little below neutral. Might be misremembering. And HK is still, I guess he's a little bit above completely dark. I'm not sure what to make of that. Maybe it's his loyalty to a master that it's like, oh yeah, it makes him at least a little bit not evil. So, okay, where are we headed? Okay. You found all the Jedi and you have convinced the remaining Jedi Masters to travel to Dantooine. You should meet them there at the ruins of the Jedi Enclave. Okay, so we want to head to the Jedi Enclave. It goes this way. I wonder who set these Set these blocks up here. They're not natural rock. They're like, you can see they're shaped in, either carved or maybe it's some kind of cement and they're cast this way. But the way they're laid out, also, like, it doesn't look like they were really planned and laid out and made for this purpose. It kind of makes me wonder if maybe these were blocks from, like, are they from the Jedi Enclave or one of the other buildings that was destroyed? And then they were able to salvage these and, like, oh, we'll put them up here as a nice little guardrail among part of the river. But where... I think we need to go up this way. Didn't remember this one particular field, so I thought we were one section further on than we were. There we go, there's the scavengers. Okay, yep, there's the Enclave. Just as it was when we were last here. Ah, but the door is open. Remember before that door was shut, we could only go on the other side into the lower portion of the Enclave. I think over there, I guess the door goes down. So here we should be able to be, I'm guessing, on the main level of the Enclave. Good. We're still going down a little bit, but... Oh, is that the... Who is that?
Out of my way. I am Colonel Tobin of the Onderon
Okay, it's the Colonel who
Lord,
got away.
I bring news of the Jedi. A place where you may feed.
Those officers look very pale.
Telos, Master. There is an academy of Jedi on Telos. Perhaps hundreds of them. Enough to sustain you. And enough for you to free Onderon. Enough for you to free Onderon.
So you might recall on Onderon, we fought the general there, and the Queen had him executed, but there was Colonel Tobin, who we fought a little bit earlier, and he got away. So presumably he went... Well, presumably he was already serving the Sith, sounded like, and that would also explain the connection between the Sith and the Onderon coup. Okay. Although it does sound like Colonel Tobin genuinely does want something for Onderon. Well, I doubt it's truly altruistic, like he thinks like, oh, this will be, this is what's best for Onderon. It's probably somewhat self-serving, but he does seem to think that, okay, yes, if I do this, then the Sith will, leave Onderon to me.
It is different. It has been some time.
A lot of flagstones are all overgrown. You got the vines hanging down. I think first thing the Jedi Order needs to do is hire a couple groundskeepers.
Forgive me, but I need to rest. Go on. The council awaits. I will remain here.
So, you're afraid. Or are you sure? What's wrong? Very well, I shall return shortly. Stay here then. Okay, so apparently you're afraid to go on.
Yes. Afraid for you. As I always have been, I will be fine here. Whatever answers the Council have are for you alone.
Is there anything wrong? Very well, I shall return shortly. Is there anything in particular I should know, that you suspect?
I am tired. The journey has been a long one, and I need to center myself.
Okay. Did HK decide to wait outside or something?
Know that much may happen here, but above all, do not forget this. You may trust in me. We cradle each other's lives, and what threatens one of us threatens us both. And if you find you cannot trust me, trust in your training, trust in yourself. Never doubt what you have done. All your decisions have brought you to this point.
Okay, that was a little quiet for me to hear
Now,
across the room.
perhaps, they shall see what you have become.
And also, why should I not doubt what I have done when you've been contradicting it all the time?
But perhaps that is for the best.
Hello?
We were wondering when you would arrive. This moment has taken some time to reach us, and I imagine you have many questions.
Or perhaps you've come for revenge.
Did you not go to join him?
No, it is a battle he must face alone.
But Atris, she has not come.
Of course she has not.
Of course Atris hasn't come. Why would Atris not come? Okay. We must ally if we are to stop the Sith. Why did you cast me out of the... I think I've asked that of every single one of them at this point, so... And if I haven't, it was because we had already gotten the answers from the others plenty of times. So, why were you all in hiding? Okay, so middle three are basically just the same questions we've asked of them when we discover them individually. So, it's really... come to kill you all, or no, we must ally if we are to stop the Sith.
No. We will do as we have done. We will wait. There's nothing else we can do.
That is a very disappointing answer. I won't deny it. What? But the Sith are attacking the Republic. But the enemy has revealed itself. We can fight back. I didn't know what you spoke of when you cast me out of the Order many years ago. The Sith are attacking the Republic. What? Can you at least explain what is it that you think you're waiting for? Like, if now isn't the time... I understand, just immediately striking blind isn't necessarily the best thing, but when would be the right time to strike then? Like, what are you looking for that you don't see yet? Yeah, the enemy's been revealed. We can fight back. I think I'm gonna go... no, focus on protection. The Sith are attacking the Republic.
No, the true threat is yet to show itself. It is waiting for something, us perhaps, to enter the war. We have seen their soldiers, the remnants of their fleet, but those are symptoms of a disease. It is more bait to attempt to draw us out.
The actual battle is being fought through the Force, not with weapons of war. It isn't about the Republic anymore. The attack on Onderon, something was attempting to use the planet itself, to feed on it, to draw on the power there. You prevented it, but it was a stalling measure. The next time will be critical.
You're all hesitating like you did in the Mandalorian Wars. Or then we must act. Okay. Yeah, I get that, there's something bigger here. I get that we want to figure out what it is, but surely there must be some way that we can do that. We can act and, still be on the lookout for the bigger threat. Like, just because we can see that there's a trap and we don't want to just walk into it doesn't mean we can just let it sit there and, ignore everything that's going on.
If Jedi gather, if we wage war against these shadows now, then Jedi will die, and we will die for nothing. Whatever this thing is, it must be fought by those strong in the Force. It cannot be fought in any other way. It knows this, and that is why it is killing us. If we die, then it will win, no matter what fleet or weapons are brought against it.
Okay. I guess we're going to have to ask the questions. Yep. See, I get that, okay, yes, we need to fight back, through the Force, not through armies and stuff, but that still involves fighting, doing something, not just waiting. It's fine. I haven't come to kill you all, so let's at least go through some options. Why did you cast me out of the Order? That actually has... It's a parallel situation to this, so maybe that we can lead around to that.
We cast you out of the Order because you followed Revan to war. There was no other reason.
No, there was another. You had become different somehow, changed. The war had changed you.
You were no longer a Jedi, but we could not tell you why. Some explanations mean nothing unless the one who suffers comes to the answer on their own. What had happened to you was punishment enough, and the Jedi do not kill their prisoners.
And if you had stayed, you would have changed us, and that we could not allow.
Changed you? What do you mean?
You already know the answer. You've noticed it in those who travel with you.
What are you talking about? Could someone just give me a straight answer? My companions, what about them? Yeah, what do they have to do with this?
Have you noticed that when you act, others follow?
Those that travel with you.
There's something wrong here. A disturbance in the Force.
Do not let them hurt him.
They follow you, without question, without hesitation.
Against their instincts, and sometimes against their sense.
It is because you are a leader, but that still fails to grasp the meaning of what I'm trying to tell you.
I think I see what they're doing here, and it's kind of funny because, of course, the real answer of why they'll just follow us and go along with us whatever we say is because this is a video game and they're video game characters. But we're going to explain it in universe and turn it into something that had changed about us in the war, that we can influence others. Well, I don't know if the ability to influence others was gained during the war, but maybe it was already there, but we changed, and therefore the influence on others would have been more detrimental. We're going to turn this into an actual ability that we have, and point it out rather, try to explain the game mechanics, basically. Presumably this is why they're following us. This is why, as we gain influence with them, their alignment for most of them has become closer to our own. So explain yourself. Are you saying I'm controlling them, or I'm a leader, a general, no longer? Yeah, are you saying I'm controlling them like they're just additional characters in a game where I'm the main character?
It is not an easy thing to explain. Sure, you are familiar with force bonds. It is the bond that develops between apprentice and master when one truly understands another. It is developed over time through understanding of each other. Yet you do it so easily, and we do not know why.
You make connections through the Force, and it resonates with those who travel with you. The resonance is even greater when they, too, are Force sensitive.
Your actions affect others more than you know. You draw others to you, especially those strong in the Force.
When you suffer, their spirit echoes it. And when they are in pain, their pain becomes yours.
Interesting. So, the bald mustached guy, uh, forgetting the names of the masters here, but he was saying that I draw others to me, especially those who are force sensitive, which would kind of explain, at least help explain, what we were noticing earlier of all of our human companions, with the exception of Mandalore, able to become Jedi. That it's not just that, oh hey, I just happen to stumble across these guys. It's that, you know, I'm apparently able to draw people to me in some sense, and the companions who decided to follow me were ones that, you know, that didn't just happen to be. They probably felt more willing to follow me because they had a certain amount of force sensitivity. So, okay. How did this happen? Is this going somewhere? Or I don't believe any of this. So yeah, how did this happen?
We do not know, but it is not the first time you felt the weight of so many lives.
And that is why the Mandalorian wars echo within you still.
What do you mean? So all those deaths at Malachor? Are you telling me you weren't responsible for my loss? I mean, we are. If we're talking about the loss of the Force, then we already kind of knew that. Or more lies, prove it. What do you mean? Let's just try to get it stated openly.
We did not cut you off from the Force. You were merely deafened to it. Because of that last battle of the Mandalorian Wars.
The screams of countless thousands, Jedi and Mandalorians, crushed by the planet's gravity, annihilated.
Their lives still scream across the surface of that dead planet, and within you. To hear the Force over such pain, it is not possible. It was too much for any Jedi to endure, and it is a wonder that you did not die there when thousands perished. All those you had fought with and struggled with. You cut yourself off because you had to if you were to survive. You had hints of it in the war on Doxon. Malachor was simply the final blow.
You were deafened.
At last, you could hear.
You were broken.
You were whole.
You were blinded.
And at last, you saw.
When you returned to us, we saw what had happened. You carry all those deaths at Malachor within you. And it has left a hole, a hunger that cannot be filled.
In you, we saw a wound in the Force.
In you, we saw the end of the Force.
Okay, so apparently with all the deaths going on in the war, I guess being a high-ranking general... So basically I'm curious why this hasn't happened to other Jedi. At least not that we know of. I'm assuming that many other Jedi, you know, were not at the rank we were, so they weren't seeing, you know, they weren't experiencing the death on a scale that we were. And then you had cases like Revan and Malak, who would have been seeing lots of death, but because they had kind of already embraced the dark side, they were... Revan was willing to accept the deaths and didn't, you know, back when he was dark side, you know, didn't seem like he wasn't necessarily being affected by it. Malak was actually reveling in death and destruction. So presumably it affected us because of both our position and the fact that we remained light side, and so because we were kind of sticking to our principles, I'm guessing is kind of why it was affecting us so much. And so then when we experienced at Malachor 5 the biggest whatever it did that just completely annihilated everyone and stopped the war, we basically kind of went into a Force type shock, maybe, where we just cut ourselves off from the Force because it was too terrible being able, experiencing that. Okay. And so then that kind of considerably worried the Masters, thinking like, oh, if you can just completely cut yourself off from the Force. Did they think that with my ability to connect with others that it might be infectious and that it might spread to others? Or that others would think that doing what we had to do at Malachor 5, like, oh, that's no big deal because, look, you can just, there are ways of being able to protect yourself from it. So did they think that that might encourage people to try to emulate us or not consider the gravity of what had occurred? Not sure. It'll be... Maybe we'll learn more if we discuss more of them. Okay. But that makes no sense. I can feel the Force again. Or my connection to the Force is even stronger than before. More lies. I still have my power and my abilities. Yeah, it does seem odd if that was, like, not just a wound, but like as you're saying, it was, we saw the end of the Force in you. I can feel the Force again, so, I mean, whatever insatiable hunger you say you felt in me seems to have been sated.
Yes. You can feel the Force, but you cannot feel yourself. You are a cipher, forming bonds, leeching the life of others, siphoning their will and dominating them. It is the teaching of these new Sith to feed on others, on other Force sensitives. They are symptomatic of the wound in the Force. You are a breach that must be closed. You transmit your pain, your suffering through the Force. Within you we see something worse than merely the teachings of the Sith. What you carry may mean the death of the Force and the death of the Jedi.
Okay. So they're claiming that I'm not touching the Force myself. Because I've formed these bonds through all my companions, I'm feeding on the Force through them. And basically just using them as conduits for the Force. So on the one hand, most of them were merely Force sensitive, like we're the ones who were able to convince them to, get stronger in the Force and get better. But I guess the Masters would probably say that, well, of course you just did that so you'd have a, bigger pool to draw from, or larger conduit to draw through or something. So I am stronger than I ever was, but I can feel the Force strongly. Yeah, neither of those sound like convincing counter-arguments to what they're saying. We need something else. I don't want to just focus on the strength, because that seems like a bad thing to focus on, but I can feel the Force strongly.
So you think. It is not the strength of a Jedi you feel.
He's right. It's all the death you've caused to get here. You feed on it, and you grow stronger. You're like Malachor. It's in you, it's what you are now. You must have noticed as you fought across all these planets, killing hundreds, only to become more and more powerful. Why do you think that was?
But what's worse is that bonding you have. It hasn't gone away. It's gotten stronger, and the more attachments you form, the more you draw others to you.
And that is why you are a threat to us all.
Okay, so again, why do you think you've been getting stronger and stronger as you've traveled across the galaxy, killing all these enemies and everything? Well, of course, the game reason is that we're getting experience every time we kill an enemy. They turn that around into, okay, every time you're killing enemies, you're drawing on their deaths and you're empowering yourself with their death, which isn't completely wrong, I guess, just maybe not in the way that the Masters intend. And as you get stronger, more people are drawn to you. Well, of course, as we leveled up, we got more companions and were able to get some more planets and things, but within the game, it's a matter of yes, as we needed more, as we grew more powerful, we needed more death to feed upon and more force to feed upon, so we drew more people to us so that we could have more conduits to draw through. So okay, that's why you're a threat to us all. So what do you mean? This makes no sense. A threat? I honestly can't choose that because it makes all too much sense as we understand the game mechanics, but what do you mean by it? Because presumably you're not looking at the game manual and figuring these out. I don't think that's one of the ancient Jedi texts.
What if other Jedi went to war as you did, suffered the same events, and emerged as you did? What if there was a crucible that trained such Jedi to consume and kill?
For you, Malachor was that crucible.
What's worse is these Sith that we face. I fear that they have learned the lesson of Malachor all too well. It is what allows them to prey on Force users, to become stronger when Force sensitives are near.
Somehow they have learned their hunger from you. And so you have brought about the end of the Jedi, and perhaps all the knowledge of the Force. But it is of no consequence. Your ability to make such connections, such bonds so easily are why you cannot remain.
And so you wait, as a shadow.
Yes, we are alike that way, blinded one.
I would have thought you would walk with him amongst the Jedi, but that is not the way of the Sith, is it?
Do not speak to me of the ways of the Sith. You, of all of us, have no conception of what it means to be Sith.
You are a threat to living creatures and all who feel the Force.
You will lead the Sith here, and that we cannot allow.
Our judgment before remains. Exile. You must leave. And you must leave without your tie to the Force. It is a punishment reserved for only a few, and only when necessary. But we have the power to cut you off from the Force, and it must be done.
Forgive us, but it is necessary.
Interesting. So this whole time, we'd been accusing, or had at least the opportunity to accuse them of cutting us off from the Force, and they were like, we didn't do that. And apparently they have that ability. It just wasn't enacted. So it wasn't that they didn't do it because they couldn't, or that was a stretch. It was that, yeah, that was too big of a punishment. So what we've gone over here is the Sith, the current Sith who we're running from. We have heard of them, hunting down the Jedi. And we had Visas talked about like her entire planet or her entire enclave of Miraluka. The Jedi went there, and like the whole planet was not the planet itself was destroyed, but all the living things on the planet were killed except for her. She was one survivor. And they're saying that the Sith learning how to do this was like they learned how to do it from us. I guess I don't know exactly how long it's been, but that would make sense. Malachor would have been during the Mandalorian Wars at the very end, and that's when this happened. Then there was the Jedi Civil War, which we didn't take part in, but Jedi and Sith fought each other. And then there's been some amount of time since then, at least, I'm guessing at least a couple years, because Revan's gone missing. We have, like, Karth is still around. He doesn't look significantly older, so it hasn't been, decades or anything. But enough time that, some of the Sith, I'm guessing, I don't know if they would have been participants of the Jedi Civil War, or if they would have been kind of on the sidelines and working on their own thing, maybe studying this Malachor 5 stuff in secret. But okay, so we are the ones responsible for that. And that would explain why they seem to be hunting us specifically. Either maybe they want to try to get us to join them, or they don't, or they're worried that, hey, if you know how to do this, if the Jedi like study you or learn how to do this, they might find a way to counteract things or something. So, okay, they want to cut me off from the Force. I will submit to this punishment. If this is what must be done, then I accept it. I won't give up the Force. Stop this. Or the first one who touches me dies. Not the second one. The second one I'm okay with, but the first one. No, I did want to mention it was a little bit ironic, or yeah, I think it was genuine irony, that Kreia saying to Visas, like, you of all of us, you of everyone, don't understand what it means to be Sith or something, which is a little odd because Visas, like, she worked for the Sith. She was, she was taken by the Sith, worked for them, and we met her because she was trying to assassinate us on behalf of the Sith. But presumably everything she did, like, she genuinely really didn't understand it or something. If Kreia's saying, like, yeah, you're actually the one who understands the Sith the least. So, okay. Yeah, I don't particularly like the idea of being cut off from the Force, but yeah, if that's what has to be done, then I guess let's get it over with.
Do not be afraid. You shall feel no pain, but this must be done. As long as you feel the Force, you are a danger to those around you.
But wait a second, if I don't feel the Force myself,
Enough.
but through others... Ow.
Step away from him.
What?
Step away. He has brought truth, and you condemn it? The arrogance. You will not harm him. You will not harm him ever again.
I thought you had died in the Mandalorian Wars.
Die? No. Became stronger. Yes.
Is this your new master, Exile? If so, then you follow Revan's path. Her teachings will cause you to fall as surely as he did.
She is difficult to see. She's like a shadow of the Exile. We sought to lure the Sith out, and now they have come to us.
How could you ever hope to know the threat you face when you have never walked in the dark places of the galaxy, faced war and death on such a scale? If you had traveled far enough, rather than waiting for the echo to reach you, perhaps you would have seen it for what it was. Did you not hear its call on Dantooine Vrook, on its scarred surface, and in the minds of the settlers? I have endured your corruption of my other students. You shall not have this one. And you, KotOR, so close to the call of Duxan, tell me, did you not feel what poured from the moon, what had taken place there? And Zeskayel, to hide upon Nar Shaddaa, yet blind yourself to all that happens there. So close to understanding the Force. So close to giving it up. There is a place in the galaxy where the dark side of the Force runs strong. It is something of the Sith, but it was fueled by war. It corrupts all that walks on its surface, drowns them in the power of the dark side. It corrupts all life, and it feeds on death. Revan knew the power of such places, and the power in making them. They can be used to break the will of others, of Jedi, promising them power and turning them to the dark side. Did you never wonder how Revan corrupted so many of the Jedi, so much of the Republic, so quickly? The Mandalorian Wars were a series of massacres that masked another war, a war of conversion, culminating in a final atrocity that no Jedi could walk away from, save one. And that is what I sought to understand. How one could turn away from such power, give up the Force, and still live. But I see what happened now. It is because you were afraid. As you would pass judgment on him, I have come to pass judgment on you all. Do you wish to feel the teachings born of the Mandalorian Wars? Of all wars, of all tragedies that scream across the galaxy, let me show you, you, who have forever seen the galaxy through the Force. See it through the eyes of the exile.
Is she cutting them off from the Force?
You.
Oh, yes. At last, you see. I am one of the Sith, it is true. I must answer for my actions, and it is my wish that only Atris hear my answers.
What are we gonna do? If we don't stop her, then everyone, everywhere, they're gonna lose their lives.
Soon your ship will come, my master. I will bring him before you, but I will not let you have him. Soon
you got
your
knocked
ship
out.
shall come from that which made you.
I know you can hear me. I have always known. It is why I followed you. I have destroyed planets for you, General. But now, this once, if we could save something in this galaxy. I need to do this, or I will die inside, like I died at Malachor 5.
Okay, we've gained a new light side force power, Force Enlightenment. Have to check that out. Journal entry. And there's a lot to take in here. Okay, so we were about to let them cut us off from the Force. Kreia stepped in and intervened. Sounds like she was threatening to cut them off from the Force, at least, you shall see through the eyes of the exile and all that. Don't know if that's what actually happened. Maybe we can talk to the Masters and find out. But she said the reason that she took an interest in us was because she had seen, I guess, so many of the others falling to the dark side, like doing what we did should have caused us to fall to the dark side just as many others did. And we were able to, I guess, getting cut off from the Force protected us from the dark side is how I'm interpreting that. And she says, okay, but now I see it wasn't because you had some special ability, it's because we were afraid, ran away from it, and basically cut ourselves off from the Force rather than face it. It wasn't it was a protection, but it was kind of a automatic protection out of fear, not some way that we were just able to like brace ourselves and do what had to be done or something. And then she said that she declared herself to still be Sith and says she has to answer for what she's done, but would only answer to Atris, and I'm not sure if she necessarily means that in a way that's good for Atris. I get the feeling we may not like the answers. Okay. Although it is interesting that even though she declares herself to be Sith, she's not full dark side. As she just said to the council, it's like, yes, I needed to walk the dark side and light side to be able to learn it. Again, not sure that's the best approach, but we have seen that before with Jedi pupils turning to the dark side and then becoming redeemed. So maybe we can still hope that that'll happen for Kreia, or has in some sense already happened for Kreia. Because she's, one thing that makes me hopeful is the fact that she wanted to protect us, even though she already said, like, yeah, my answer is that it was fear, but that doesn't mean that she's casting us aside. And let's see what she did to the Jedi Masters and see, if she killed them, then that would look pretty bad for her. If she didn't kill them, that might be an indication that she's, not, even if she's still Sith, she's not quite so dark side as have us think. Okay, so let's see, where is recognition? What? So what, Force Enlightenment or something? Force Enlightenment, okay. This power allows the Jedi to use the light side of the Force to enhance the Jedi's powers. The best of the Jedi's speed, armor, and valor powers are instantly activated at a reduced cost. This power is useful to quickly become ready for difficult battles. Okay, so our Jedi speed... what? Armor and valor. I'm not sure if I've been taking lots of armor and valor. Maybe we should start doing that. But okay, but whatever... Yeah, whatever speed, valor, and armor effects we do have, it'll just take the maximum of them and apply them all to us just with one thing, so that's pretty useful. So, okay, Master KotOR, how are you doing? Okay, the Master is dead, drained of life. His body is worse than lifeless. It's like an absence in the Force. Well, Kreia, I hate to break to you, I think this is gonna count against you a little bit on the redemption side of things. Master Vrook. Okay, also absence in the Force. Master Mustache. No. Okay, well, what about Visas? We saw her in the cutscene, but she also appeared here and was knocked out. Is she still here? No. So she made it back to the ship, presumably. Okay. Oh, there's a chest here. Nath Cowling and Thon's robe. Okay, we'll have to check those out. What is, okay, Thon's... Oh, Nath Cowling we already had. It's a dark side... What is a dark side only robe doing in the remains of the Jedi Enclave? Yeah, dyed with the water from the tainted Lake Nath on Ambria. These robes infuse the wearer a trace of the dark side powers contained within the lake. It's kind of sketchy. Especially because presumably, since this part of the Enclave has been locked up until the Jedi Masters arrive, either one of them brought it with them, or this has been here since the Jedi Enclave fell. Okay, Thon's robe. Okay, defense bonus 3. This is a light side one. Force focus, force immunity, stun, and force jump. Thon was an enigmatic Jedi watchman who kept even his species secret. He was a powerful agent of the light side and also trained many Jedi. So what do these robes look like? Like, do they hide? Okay, we're using the Jal Shay Neophyte armor, which I think is better, so we'll switch back to that. But let's see, where's Thon's robe? What do these look like? Yeah, I'm not really sure how that would hide your species. Unless it's just talking about within the, like, Jedi records or something. Okay, let's go see, where did Kreia even go? That's... This corpse doesn't look like it's been here since the Enclave fell. Yep, okay. Hyper-adrenal stamina. Or maybe it has, and maybe just animals and things haven't managed to get up here, and something happened that partially preserved the bodies so they didn't fully decay. Oh, this is the old way. That's where, in the last game, if we were coming here, we would have docked. Okay. Elite Watchman Blaster and an Opila Crystal. Okay. Let's check those out. Pila Crystal. Additional damage and more damage on a critical hit. Found in the asteroid fields of the Firth system. This crystal can be used in lightsaber construction to produce an intense beam that seems extraordinarily quick to the cut. And... wait, what kind of pistol is that we found? It's like a watchman's pistol or something? Didn't see it in the pistols area. Let's try just looking at weapons. Oh, okay, it was Elite Watchman. Actually, I think that was it. Okay, we already had one. Would also be why, because I was looking for ones outlined in orange. So, okay. Okay, Kreia, just as soon as I'm done looting everything I can find here, I'm gonna try to catch up with you, and we're gonna have a little talk. So, okay, made it all the way back to the ship. Oh, Atten, what happened? Where's Kreia? What happened here? Did Kreia come on board? Okay, no, first things first, Atten seems like he's kinda injured or something, so what happened, dude?
The handmaiden took her. She thinks Kreia killed you.
Huh. But Kreia didn't do that. Or why did she think that? So, the handmaiden took her. Okay, so presumably it means back to Atris, like, I guess to... When Kreia said she had a lot to answer for, but only to Atris, the handmaiden is like, okay, you're surrendering, essentially place you under arrest and escort you back to Atris to answer for your crimes. Although, considering what Kreia just did to 3 Jedi Masters, I'm not sure things are looking great for Atris. Also, how did they escape the planet? We're on board the ship, and we haven't seen any other ships in the area. Okay, but Kreia didn't do that. Or why does she think that? Yeah, I mean, Atten, I'm right here. Kreia didn't kill me.
Of course she didn't. It's a lie. Another lie. The only thing that matters is the handmaiden believes it. And she's gonna react exactly how that old witch hoped she would. That's why she wanted the handmaiden on board, you know. So she could use her to reach the Telos Academy whenever she wished, without needing the access codes.
Yeah, of course, the handmaiden wouldn't give the access codes to us, but she'll help Kreia get back. Okay, they're going to Telos? But the handmaiden wouldn't betray the Academy like that. I mean, sure, she became a non-Jedi and learned the Force, which was kind of a betrayal, but not... She would betray the Academy like that, not like Kreia's way of betraying the Academy. Or the handmaiden would never allow Kreia to enter the Academy. So, yeah, I don't think the handmaiden would allow that kind of betrayal. But then again, if I'm guessing that I'm again guessing that Kreia kind of tricked her.
She would, if she thought she was bringing Atris a prisoner, especially a Sith Lord. She'll take her to Telos, and Atris will do what she'll do to anyone she thinks is a Sith.
A Sith? Atris will execute her. But Kreia and I are linked. If she dies... Yeah. Well, I mean, Atris, I think, will certainly try to execute her. Again, after seeing what Kreia did to 3 Jedi Masters, I'm not sure that Atris is capable of doing that. But a Sith, why What makes you say that, Atten?
Are you surprised? All that talk of hatred, manipulation, and standing on your own 2 feet? Sorry, you don't get any more Sith than that. Still, if we were all judged by who we were in the past, I don't think you'd understand who we are now.
Yeah, of course, Atten would understand the Sith philosophy quite well because he had served with the Sith in the Jedi Civil War. Okay. Then we're going to Telos. We have no choice. The Sith are planning to attack Telos. Everything will be decided there. Oh, that's right. I don't think we know about that. Like, our character doesn't know about that. But we did see in the cutscene, Kreia seemed to be contacting the other Sith. Or something. Was that Kreia? No. Visas was either contacting the other Sith, or she was at least thinking about the other Sith and knew that, okay, yeah, we're going to be meeting up with them, but yeah, it's not going to go the way they're thinking because Visas is totally on our side now. But okay, sounds like whatever is going on, we don't really have a choice. We need to go to Telos.
That's what I was afraid you'd say.
Alright, come on, Atten, start waving your weapons at the console as fast as you can. Get us there. All haste.
What is wrong?
Oh,
Something troubles you.
I gotta take Kreia's spot. Okay. Can you? I don't doubt it. I fear I've been influencing you all without realizing it. Or I don't want to talk about it. You know, this influence thing might help explain why... I don't think it's the entire explanation, but it might help explain why Visas, who was already one of the ones most in tune with the Force, was just immediately like, okay, yeah, I'm not going to kill you, I'm going to help you. So, I fear I've been influencing you all without realizing it.
I do not understand what you mean.
Okay. Do you ever wonder why you're with me? Or, Visas, why are you following me? Do you understand why you attack whom I attack, I think it should be. Kill whom I kill? Yeah, that doesn't seem odd to you that just whenever I go into combat, you're immediately in combat mode, or whoever else is following me is immediately in combat mode and willing to just attack the same people. Nobody else ever is like, wait, stop this, we should talk this out, or anything.
I would die for you. When I tell you my life for yours, it is my choice. And if there is an ending between us where my sacrifice can save you, it will be because it is my desire, not your will.
But how do you know? But what if the Force is just controlling all this? Well, I mean, of course the Force is controlling all this. I think we've known that since like the very first Star Wars movie, when Obi-Wan was training Luke in the Force. We had the so it controls your actions, partially, but it also follows your commands. Like to some extent the Force is controlling everything, but it's not just a puppetry kind of stuff. Our wills are involved as well. I don't want to talk about it. Let's hear Visas's side of things. What if the Force is just controlling all it? We're on our way to Telos. This is the perfect time for philosophy.
I simply do. And sometimes there is no reason that can be given. What did you learn within the Jedi Academy?
Visas, you are terrible for discussing philosophy. I think Kreia or pretty much anyone else would have gone into a nice long discussion on that. Okay. What did we learn at the Jedi Academy? That I form connections through the Force, and that is why others follow me to their death. that I was a wound in the Force, that as long as I live, that wound will never heal. All the deaths I caused on Malachor might cause the death of the Force and everyone around me. I don't want to talk about it. So apparently causing all those deaths on Malachor might lead to the complete death of pretty much everything even remotely connected to me. It's kind of a lot to take in, honestly.
Then that is the danger of their beliefs. They do not understand you, what it means to be human, to lead. The feelings I have for you are because of what I see, what I hear in your voice. All that tells me you're a natural leader. I follow because I believe in you. I would die for you because I believe in you. And where they look at you and see the death of the Force, I look at you and see hope for all life. I look at you and see that perhaps a life untouched by the Force is not the punishment it is believed to be. I will understand if you feel you must go on alone, but I ask that you do not. Instead, take strength from your connection to others. Do not forsake them as you did in exile.
I will, Visas, or do not lecture to me on what I must do. So, I will. Are we talking about taking strength from our connection to others, or are we saying we will forsake them as we did in exile? I'm assuming the former. And it actually does go back to the Force question. As we were just saying, the Force both controlling us and being controlled by us. That seems to be, yes, to a certain extent we've influenced others, but also being around others has influenced us as well. Like, we started picking some snarkier comment options once we got Atten in our group, and we did things just to provoke Kreia. So having her around influenced what we did. So it's not just a one-way street. This is kind of a symbiotic relationship, even as dysfunctional as our little family has been. Thank you, Visas. That actually has helped, even if I'm not sure that's exactly where you were going with it. So I will, and again, I'm responding to the take strength from our connection to others. Okay. Feels odd, I think, maybe it has something to do with the meditation pose, but I personally would feel very uncomfortable just having like large open doorway behind me and I'm spending all my time just staring away from it while other people are on board the ship. That just feel like it'd be very creepy. But okay, so she's paused for some reason. Wait, you're troubled. Why? Was there something more you wish to say? Your master and I will fight soon at Telos. If there's something you would say, say it. Yeah, why are you troubled?
He awaits you at Telos. If you go there, you must face him. And when you do, he will wound you, as he has wounded me.
I have to face him. If I do not stop him, then Telos will be destroyed. He may wound me, but I will kill him. I do not run from any battle or any man. I mean, if her master can really be considered a man anymore, he seems like he's more of a monster, but... and of course that's assuming he was even human to begin with, because in the Star Wars universe that is certainly not a given. But yeah, if we don't stop him, then Telos will be destroyed.
I ask you, I beg you, to stay here with me.
I cannot stay. I will stay with you for as long as I can. Visas, I can't. Or why? Or I do not indulge my servants. Seems that would be going a bit in the opposite direction. So, yeah, I can't stay. We kind of need to get this done and, save the galaxy and all that.
I know. But I could not let you go without asking you. This last time, I have never asked you for anything. I have fought alongside you, would have given my life to you many times over. And now there is something I must ask. I want to look upon you, where no one else can see. Where it is just us. I want to see your face, the color of your skin. I wish to see what the handmaiden sees when she looks at you. That causes her heart to race and her tone to change. What causes her to forsake her heritage, her oaths, as you made me forsake mine. I need to know if perhaps I am wrong. If the universe is not as my master once showed me.
Okay. I'm a little bit confused. She talks about seeing with her own eyes or something. Miraluka generally see through the Force. I was under the impression that they were thoroughly blind as far as physical eyesight and could only see through the Force. Is that not the case? Okay, if the universe is not as my master once showed me, I'm not sure how seeing my physical appearance is like going to affect that. But the universe is not solely as our eyes make it out to be, Visas. You know this. Or Jedi are allowed no such attachments. Or it's not the Jedi, but I cannot stay here with you. Okay, maybe this is kind of a clumsy, like, flirtation or something on her account. Or on her part. But yeah, it's not just what our eyes make it out to be. There's a lot more to it. Not only do you know this, Visas, didn't you show us like the Force Sight ability? And that was because you showed us there's more to it than what our physical eyes see.
From the moment I heard your voice across the galaxy, I have longed for you. It is the echo, a wound that travels still, that when heard, made me understand that there was another wounded as I was. One who had felt the same sense of loss. When I heard it, I loved you more than my own life. And I wanted you to be here with me for as long as you will let me love you. Stay. And I want you to see what I see when I gaze upon you. I want you to know why I cannot look at you and why I am drawn to you.
Okay, so I guess to a certain extent that makes sense as far as the hearing that she's been wounded similarly to how we've been, because as the sole survivor of her entire race, that probably would be rather... I don't know her entire race, but at least all of the people who were living at on that planet. So, and I think other people have said they thought the Miraluka were either extinct or were at least gone from this section of the galaxy. So, yeah, I'm guessing that would be the kind of thing that could cause a wound similar to ours, and so maybe she was cut off from the Force, and then, like we were, and then she got it back. I guess kind of like how we got it back after forming a bond with Kreia. Maybe she got it back by forming a bond with her master. Okay, and I feel like this kind of romantic plotline would make a bit more sense if we had traveled with her a bit more, so that it was. You know, this seems very much like in the last game when we had a similar decision with Bastila, that it was just kind of a seems to come out of nowhere because we haven't really been building towards that. But I kind of see they can't necessarily accommodate all possibilities. So, then let us look upon each other, or I cannot stay. If I do, it will weaken me for the struggle ahead. Or, I'm going to wait. It'll give me something to fight for, to come back to. Or, I tire of this. Leave me be. Return to your meditations. Yeah, let's wait till after the fight, and sure, might as well choose a romantic option, I guess. But we'll pretend that we've spent more time together than we actually have. Although I'm also not really sure how long this is supposed to have taken. Anyway, it's only been probably only been a few days or weeks or something. But yeah, I'm gonna wait. It'll give me something to fight for, to come back to.
It was something that had to be spoken, if nothing but to hear the echo. I will await you, and if you do not return, then I shall wait until my life ends. Then we shall meet again, in the places where the Force does not touch.
Okay, that's kind of ominous. Are we... Good timing on the landing here.
I will await you.
Yep, we heard you. Thank you. Honestly, don't know if that was intended or if that was a glitch of it replaying the last thing.
Who is there? Who I am is not the question.
I am Atris, Jedi Master, the last historian of the Jedi, the last of the Jedi.
Those are titles, words you cling to as the darkness falls around you. It is not the first time we have met, Atris. I was here before.
With the exile?
Yes, I was here both times when the exile was brought before you.
Who are you?
I was the one who asked him to be exiled.
I did as you asked, so long ago. You seem familiar to me.
Atris, I have always been here.
You are that which has attacked the Jedi. You are Sith.
Sith is a title, yes, but like you, the title is not who I am. It is not what I believe. For you, it is different. Know that there was once a Darth Treya, and that she cast aside that role, was exiled, and found a new purpose. But there must always be a Darth Treya, one that holds the knowledge of betrayal, who has been betrayed in their heart, and will betray in turn. You have bathed in the knowledge of the Sith, but there is not enough truth in such teachings. But it will be a step for you. You have gathered Sith holocrons, Sith teachings from across the galaxy. It is why you have chosen servants who cannot feel the Force, and most importantly, they cannot feel what you have become.
I have sought to preserve the Jedi Order, and I have gathered all that I know of the Sith to this place, so I might find them and stop them.
I had wondered if any of these holocrons had survived Dantooine. You have taken relics from one destroyed planet to the devastation of another.
It was always intended for the Jedi to retreat to Telos should Dantooine be attacked, taking all their lore with them. We could not allow the tragedy at Ossus to happen again.
Such an act marked Telos for destruction. It is why the Sith came here, though the fleet commanders did not know why. It is why Revan ordered its destruction to mark the beginning of the Jedi's civil war. It was a message that there would be no place for the Jedi to retreat, to hide. I would not be surprised if Revan left other gifts beneath the surface of the planet. Much can be buried beneath graveyards that will never be found.
When the Sith attacked, I felt Telos die. Turbo lasers fell like lightning upon the landscape, as they did on Dantooine, and so many died. So many voices, screaming in pain.
Yes, such acts leave their mark on the galaxy. Their cries travel far, though few can hear them.
How did it happen?
Search your heart. It was never battle that called to you, never battle that caused you to fall. Malachor 5 has touched many things, and it casts its echoes still.
Why did he betray me?
You betrayed yourself. Do not blame the exile. And unlike you and I, there is still a chance that one may be saved. The one that you cast out.
Where is the exile? I had thought...
Oh, he will come. But it will be too late to save either of us. It is such a quiet thing to fall, but far more terrible is to admit it.
I mean, the red lighting seems like that's an ominous sign.
Your mistress awaits. She has much to share with you.
Okay, the handmaiden's here. I'm glad we gave her some different ropes, so
The
she's
last of the handmaidens is before us.
a little
It is
easier to
good that you have
differentiate.
returned. You have much to answer for.
What are you saying?
You have betrayed us. You have betrayed Atris.
You are no longer one of us. You followed the Jedi, betrayed your oath.
Listen to me. Atris has been touched by the Sith. It is not too late for...
Silence.
It is a crime to kill blood, but not to kill a betrayer as you.
Okay, so the handmaiden, of course, has returned with Kreia. I still don't know how they got back, but I guess there must have been some other ship they were able to hire or take possession of or something. So it sounds as if we might have the reason that Atris didn't return to the Jedi Enclave. From her discussion with Kreia, it sounds like Atris, if we could see her force alignment bar, would be kind of at least drifting towards the red, probably on the red side of neutral. She has some connection with Kreia. That she said it sounded like Kreia was the reason that she demanded that we be exiled when not everybody in the council was for that option. And yeah, although yeah, let's see, she was looking for knowledge, was looking through Sith holocrons and things, and at first, and maybe even still, trying to convince herself that it's because, I need to learn about the enemy in order to be able to destroy them. Kreia seems to suggest, no, they've had an effect on you, and now you're doing it just to, learn more about this, and probably. So it sounds like she's turning to the dark side because of that. Very, very much I was thinking very much a Saruman type story here, especially given the white color scheme she prefers. And it sounds like she at least hasn't been willing to admit it even to herself, but she seems to have known that she was doing this, so hence why she didn't want any other Jedi around. She only took in students who were non-force sensitive, so whether she didn't want them to become corrupted themselves, or whether she didn't want them to be able to sense her corruption. And presumably that's also why she didn't go to the meeting on Dantooine, because she was concerned that the others might be like, hey, so you're a Sith now. That's not cool. But okay, so the handmaiden has been accused of betrayal, and the others want to fight her. Okay. I will not fight you, or if you stand in my way, then you shall die. You are right. I am no longer one of you. I am stronger. And it is no crime to kill blinded ones such as you. I think she would be well aware of the fact that she's, when we told her about force sensitivity and she decided to take that option, she seemed very aware of the fact that it would be viewed as a betrayal and that she's not really with them anymore. So, yeah, she's stronger.
We shall see. You were always the last of us, and now we shall show you why.
We shall see what the exile has taught. If she kills her sisters, then the dark side will have its claim on her. Yet if she does not, then she will die. Such is sacrifice.
The true test of battle is how much force to bring against opponents. If you wish to kill them, do not hold back. But if you wish to stun them, incapacitate them, then you must choose your attacks carefully, using just the right amount of force, just the right weapon to stop them.
Okay, so we need to... Oh, that's right, we gave her like an orangish lightsaber. At first I thought that was red. To stop your sisters, you must either kill all of them or end the combat with them all stunned or paralyzed. If you can reduce them to enough hit points without killing them, they shall be automatically stunned. Okay. Let's save, because we're going to see if we can try to just stun them. And we'll probably reload if we end up where we end up killing them. Had her using had her using unarmed because of her Achani training. So one single lightsaber is probably good. Let's go with Master Jedi Defense. Okay. Well, this is going to make it harder to stun them that way, I guess. That all we have are healing and lightsaber throws. Let's see. Force deflection. I mean, that would be useful, but not necessarily in this particular combat. Force push isn't going to stun them. That only does stunning stuff on higher levels. Okay. This might be stun for 9 seconds. I don't think we'll be able to use this to just stun all of them because they'll get unstunned by the time we don't. But if we can stun some of them through damage, we might be able to use this to stun the last ones without risking killing them. Okay, improved force jump, unarmed specialist. Okay. Okay, might be able to improve this a bit. Okay, so this will stasis. An opponent targeted by this power is held in stasis, unable to move or take any action for 12 seconds. Okay, if they succeed in a saving throw, they're slowed instead of stunned. Okay, we don't have another level up, so... Okay, that's right, we did give her a lightsaber. Uh, 2 to 16... Let's go with this one. This is a little better lightsaber. Okay, well, hopefully that won't be too much. So, alright. So, how about a lightsaber throw? Let's start with that. Okay. Okay, we need to do the old Jedi Master, Sith Lord technique of running around so we have a chance to heal. Okay. And try to get enough distance that they're not going to be able to hit us and No, hey! You guys are just supposed to follow me in a train. You're not supposed to be able to, like, come at me from different angles. Can we leave this room? Just, like, run all around the compound? Well, this is a... Yeah, this will be a much nicer battle venue to... Okay, so let's throw our lightsaber while we're here. Okay. Took a little long to get our lightsaber out, so that really didn't affect us, or didn't help us as much as I had hoped. Okay, well, we can run to the other room. And... Okay, you're right here, so... Okay. Kick you. I'm not sure how well our force regenerates in combat, so what are we at right now? Can't see what we're... Okay, 72. Let's see if that improves at all by the time we... Okay, wow, there's a lot of you. Okay, you. Hit you. That seems to have gone up a bit. 83, okay, yeah, we are regenerating force points, that's good. I guess let's... I was about to jump over to her, I think. So let's go ahead and do that. No, stop! I want you to heal, not fight her. There, okay. Okay, how do I... Can I deselect somebody so I don't... Oh, you're just hanging out there? I think our strategy of just running between the two rooms is confusing some of them. They're getting dizzy. That is why you will never be able to defeat me. Can we go into other rooms? Okay, here's the training room. Okay, that's too many. If I can get one or two on their own, that's good, but all, what, 5 of them together is a bit much. Let's see, we'll run this way, through the prison area. Okay, here's some map room. Can we go all the way back to the Ebon Hawk? Oh, there's nobody here. Okay, where are you guys? There we go.
Prepare.
Oh, you're one of the ones who's fully healed? Okay, well. At least maybe we can fight one-on-one till the rest of them arrive.
This will teach you.
It seems a little odd that Stick seems to be glowing laser sword, but that's just kind of how it goes. I am kind of glad that we're not doing too much damage with the lightsaber, because it means we might have a better chance of knocking him out rather than just killing him. Okay, so she's stunned. Okay. Yeah, it's very unlikely, unless we got like a very poorly timed crit, it's unlikely that we'll just kill any of them accidentally. So So presumably, I'm guessing that's the way the battle's supposed to go, is that you get them down far enough they're stunned, and then you're making a conscious choice either to strike them down or leave them stunned. I guess let's see, where are the rest of you guys? You're all over here. Or at least some of you are. Okay, let's continue doing this. Man, everybody's gonna be so excited when they all meet up again, and the handmaid's able to tell them that she just fought a battle every bit as epic as Revan versus Malak. Okay, where? Oh, it's only one of you made it. I guess I'm rather glad that most of you are very bad at pathfinding. I could probably use my melee shield, that would help at least a little bit. Okay, 2 down. And with how long it's taking, I'm very much hoping that this isn't something where, like, they revive and come back after a few seconds or something. 3 down. Okay, that's good. The way she's waiting patiently there, I think she just wanted to see the pretty colors of the Force Heal ability. Okay, so that's 4 down. Where's the last one? Okay, that's an exit. Wait. Did I see? Okay, that's turbo lift. Where? I thought I saw an enemy thing. Maybe that was one of the ones who was stunned. Oh, that's empty. Hey, there you are. There we go.
Where have you been? You have been absent so long, I feared for your safety. Were you with the exile all this time?
Mistress, as you commanded, I...
Commanded? Did I command you to consort with him? To follow his teachings? To betray your oath?
Mistress, the exile taught me many things.
I am certain he did. And now perhaps it is time to show me what you have learned.
Mistress, I do not understand. Of
course you do not. But you will learn. But you have had a long journey, and I am anxious to see what you have learned of war and battle.
Atris, given what I've heard of your discussion with Kreia, I don't think you're really in any position to be talking down to other people of accepting new teachings, or for accepting new teachings and betraying their ideals. So, okay, let's save. Ow, okay. She, wow. Wow, she, took a lot of damage, but she gives it back as well. What? Oh, do we need to go through this again?
Enough!
Oh.
Did you have feelings for him? Did you touch him? Did you look upon him with love? There is no love in that one. He is a shell, devoid of emotion. All that he was died at Malachor, and he dies there still, as he should.
Atris, I get the feeling this is about more than just the handmaiden.
One exile has arrived to save another.
Okay. Look, I gather we had some kind of a history, and you're upset about that. That's understandable, but let's not, drag others into it, okay? Do not harm her. If you wish to punish anyone, then punish me. Or you've truly fallen far to kill a helpless opponent. Drop the weapon, or else. I'm here for my lightsaber, Atris. Her life is mine to end, not yours. Kill her. See if I care. See, getting my lightsaber back would be kind of nice, but we already have a lightsaber. We really don't need another one. I mean, we'll pick it up if the opportunity presents itself, but we don't need to make a big deal about it. If you're... I mean, no, this isn't about punishing us. Like, well, it seems like it kind of is to a certain extent. But I think, like, Atris, you really have fallen kind of far if you're just going to kill her over this. Like, this isn't about, destroying the Sith. This isn't about, oh, you've done something terrible. I mean, like, yes, she broke her oath, but she didn't betray you in the sense of, like, actually turning against you. If there's any punishment to be taken, it's certainly not that. So, yeah, you've truly fallen far if you're just going to kill a helpless opponent, after you've beaten her.
It is no crime to kill the Sith, or any that threaten the Republic, as you proved in the Mandalorian Wars. This is now my battle, and you are now my enemy.
Okay, but... the Handmaiden is not a Sith. She's not an enemy of the Republic. You're not fighting her on the battlefield as an enemy. You're just like, yeah, I don't like what you did, so I'm going to kill it. Atris, that is not right at all. Surrender, Atris. I don't want to fight you. Or where's Kreia, Atris? Enough talking. Fight or die. I don't care. I mean, we do need to know where Kreia is, but I mean, that's... We need to deal with this first. Atris, just surrender.
Such a noble offer. Your execution has been too long delayed, Exile.
No, did you kill her? Alright, that's it. I'm gonna knock you down with Force Lightning. That is a definite dark side move, Atris. Yeah, keep getting knocked down. There will be no running in circles with me. Okay, so let's go see Handmaiden. Hopefully she's okay. Oh, that's not good. I mean, on the one hand, like, we can't interact with her, check her status. On the other hand, we also can't loot her body, so that might be a sign that she's still okay. Alright.
She said you would come here to this place. If you think you can defeat me here, you are wrong. All this collected knowledge, all these teachings of combat and the Force, they're mine to command. And if I must use it to end you, I will. Surrender. You need not die.
Okay, I understand you've collected a lot of knowledge. Granted. I understand that that's probably made you more powerful. Do you think that, like, just being in proximity to these digital encyclopedias or whatever makes you stronger? Like, presumably what would make you stronger is learning from them and applying that, and then, like, so you should have been stronger even in the other room. If you weren't stronger in the other, like, how is coming here going? Atris, I really don't understand what you're trying to accomplish. But that seems to be kind of a theme with Sith Lords of, like, ah, yes, you've beaten me quite easily, so clearly I have the upper hand here. Not that Atris is exactly a Sith Lord, but she's probably supposed to be about that. It's probably only because she hasn't officially joined the Sith, and she's probably supposed to be about that strength, so. Atris, you must be stopped. Atris, you've fallen to the dark side. Surely you see that. I will not fight you. Surrender, and I will spare you. You must fear death to beg for your life, so. Words of a coward and a Jedi. Prepare. Yeah, you think you're dark. We can be even darker, Jedi. No, Atris, you've fallen to the dark side. Come on, can't you see that?
Atris? That is not who I am. Not any longer. She has not existed for some time, I think. There was always something else within me. It just took time for its voice to be heard.
What happened to you? Atris, we don't have time for this. We need to unite to stop the Sith. What is this place? I will not fight you. Okay, that's... yeah. Atris, yeah, totally. We need to stop the Sith. We need to unite. That's kind of a bigger deal. Weren't you all about fighting the Sith? I mean, even if you decided to take stronger methods and sketchier methods, isn't that still something you want to do?
Yes, the Sith are here at last. You have brought them to this place as I had foreseen. It has all been part of my plans for you. And when I defeat you and the forces you have brought to Telos, I shall take the battle to the heart of the Sith and wipe them out. Forever.
Okay. Where is the Sith base? What plans are you talking about? Yeah, can we hear more about this plan of yours?
These Sith are cowards, striking from the shadows to kill Jedi. I needed a target to draw them out, but I could not risk my own life, all that remained of the Jedi. So I arranged for you to return to the Republic, leaked information of your past, and then waited for the Sith to come. And they did. But you came to Telos against my predictions. Now they are here, I can finally face this enemy and defeat them.
Okay, so we drew the Sith out. And you admit that them coming to Telos was not part of what you... well, at least not what you had predicted. Maybe you had still planned for it and just thought it would be unlikely. But yeah. What happened to you? What is this place? Yeah, small hiccup with your plan there, Atris. Kreia was able to single-handedly defeat 3 Jedi Masters. I was able to just completely wipe the floor with you in the other room. Like, not even close. It was the first Revan versus Malak fight all over again. The one where Bastila foolishly sacrificed herself. You know, there was no chance. And yet, you know Kreia is one of the Sith, and you think that you, who could not even stand up to me, and I doubt are stronger than all 3 of the Jedi Masters that were on Dantooine put together, you think that you're going to single-handedly kill me, kill all my companions, kill the entire Sith Force and the Masters of the Sith. I don't think it's the dark side that's taken you, Atris. I think it's the stupid side. What happened to you?
The old woman you traveled with finally made me listen to myself, to the galaxy.
Yeah, she does
that a lot. She said that you would come here, and that you would face me in battle.
Okay. There's no reason for us to fight. What is this place? I mean, yeah, the only reason I was fighting before is you were trying to kill one of my friends. If you can stop doing that, we can work together.
She said you were the last obstacle to my enlightenment. If I wished to truly face the Sith, to see their heart, then that meant facing you, this last time.
Okay, Kreia is part of the old school of Jedi teaching of the, hey, you need to turn to the dark side to be able to understand the dark side and realize how easy it is to fall to the dark side. And so, okay, yeah, you'll fall to the dark side, and then you can get redeemed, and then you'll be like, oh, hey, now I'm all redeemed now, and you can be a good Jedi. Is that what's going on? Where did she go? Or did she say where the Sith were striking from? Or what is this place? We just kind of ignore that and be like, okay, whatever, let's just get on to the more important stuff. So, okay, a handmaiden's safe, so where did Kreia go?
I do not know, yet. I suspect she went in search of you. But just as when she first came here, her path is difficult to see. She has set many things in motion. It is she that ordered the extermination of all Jedi so long ago. She will answer for her crimes. In time. She is Sith.
In time?
Just as you are. Just as all who followed Revan were.
No, that is not what makes somebody Sith. And again, Revan turned back from that path. And you had Kreia here. You say she has crimes to answer for, and you just let her go, and you don't even know where. It's not even a matter of like, yes, she will play her part in the plan, and I will use her before the Atris. You're making less and less sense as we go on. You're just rambling. Do you want a Twitter account, perchance? Did she say where the Sith were striking from, at least?
I do not know, yet. But it does not matter. They have come here to face the Republic in battle, and they will be destroyed.
You've placed everyone on Citadel Station in jeopardy, Atris. And when the Sith are defeated, what then? Okay, I kind of want to point this out, but I also feel that like Atris is probably going to be like, oh, it's a necessary sacrifice, which would be rather, well, I was going to say on the one hand that would be, seems like it'd be rather odd. On the one hand, that would seem to be a very dark thing to do, and so she's be saying like, yeah, embracing this dark path is necessary for the long term. On the other hand, that's kind of exactly what the Jedi did during the Mandalorian Wars. The bulk of the Jedi, who were all like, oh yes, we can't strike at the Mandalorians now. We need to wait and see, what is willed for us, and anything that any peoples killed by the Mandalorians are just the price we must pay. So, So actually, that's. Actually, I can perfectly imagine her doing that even before she presumably fell to the dark side. So yeah, when the Sith are defeated, what then? Seriously, what's your end game here? Is that when you turn back to the light side and are like, okay, I'm a good Jedi now?
When the Sith are destroyed, then I shall rebuild the Jedi Order again. They shall have none of the weaknesses of before. They shall be strong, willing to take battle to any who oppose them and weaken the Republic. They shall not train those who are easily corrupted. No more students that will bring war and hate to the galaxy.
They will take the battle to any who threaten the Atris. That's exactly why you guys punished me in the first place, is because I and the other folks who went with Revan wanted to take the battle to those who would threaten the Republic. You're very irritating to talk to, you know that? Atris, you will make the Jedi into the Sith. You hear me? The Sith. That is what you're doing.
The Sith are the Jedi are the Sith. What matters is that they be preserved, all the law, all the teachings brought to a new generation. I am the last of the Jedi, and I will show them this truth. Bring it to the galaxy.
Huh. So the Jedi are the Sith are the Jedi. She's saying the, Force users are all the same thing. It's all one. So I guess what matters is the knowledge. Presumably, I think she actually means the knowledge, not the philosophy. She's equating the two sides together. I'm guessing she would have some philosophy of both, but she's not focusing on the beliefs of either one. She's just the knowledge, what they know about the Force. That's what needs to be preserved. It's interesting that we've where was it we encountered that? Was it on Onderon? I think it was one of the Sith Masters we were talking to. I believe it was. Maybe it was on... No, it was on Dantooine when we were talking with people and I forget if it was Master Vrook or if it was the leader of the people there was like, yeah, don't let on that you're a Jedi. People are still kind of a lot of people still blame the Jedi for what happened, and when we said, hey, it was the Sith, then they were like, yeah, but you have to understand, to people who aren't Jedi, the Jedi and the Sith are all one thing. Like, it's all these weird mystical Force users, and that's all most people know about them, unless they're like Atten and others who, fought alongside the Sith or the Jedi, or unless they're people who, personally know Jedi or Sith, or who have strong dealings with them. Like your average person on the street on any given planet is probably going to be like, yeah, that's like, two sides of the same coin or something. They have a couple of philosophical differences, but they're all the same thing. So interesting to hear Atris kind of taking that view. She wants to purge the Jedi of weakness. So weakness, like when you fled KotOR and Dantooine. Okay. Yeah, so when you guys fled and went into hiding, was that the kind of weakness you're trying to get rid of?
I did not flee. I did what was necessary to fight the Sith and preserve the last of the Jedi.
But you just said the Sith are the Jedi, and vice versa. And you left the Jedi to die on KotOR. Come on.
Yes, I sensed what would happen on KotOR. It was I who leaked knowledge of its presence in the hopes of drawing the Sith out. I will not deceive you. I knew what could happen there, but it had to be done to make the Sith reveal themselves. But I did not know the extent of their power, and what that meant for the Jedi. I will not underestimate them again.
Atris, you kind of still are underestimating them, I think. You are responsible for the murder of an entire planet. Or what were the Jedi doing on KotOR? Why didn't you warn the Jedi what would happen? That's a good point. If what you're saying is true and like you were just like, hey, let's draw the Sith out, why didn't you at least warn the Jedi, like, hey, all the Sith are going to be coming here, we should be ready? What was your goal with that?
They knew the risk, because they sought to hide, to reflect, to hesitate while our numbers thinned and Jedi died. They knew the risks in going to KotOR, and they deserved what happened to them. It was their punishment for hiding from the galaxy, for hiding from me.
Punishment? Are you even listening to yourself? They deserve no such death. No one did. They have not abandoned the fight, but you and the Sith forced them to fight another way to protect others. So you murdered your own, like a true Sith. If you murdered them out of revenge, then admit it. It does sound like there's a note of bitterness for hiding from me. And it seemed like when she was talking about us and why we were cast out of the Order, she focused on our betrayal of the Jedi, supposed betrayal and everything, but there was some amount of element of like a personal betrayal. Atris, you're kind of making this all about yourself. I'm not really sure what... they have not abandoned the fight, but you and the Sith forced them to fight another way to protect others. Like, is she saying that, or are we saying that Atris and the Sith forced the Jedi to fight to protect others? Or are we saying that Atris and the Sith were trying to protect others when forcing them to fight? I'm not sure I really understand where that one's going. But, yeah, seriously, this whole conversation, have you been listening to yourself? You are just rambling and borderline incoherent at this point.
They're the same questions, the same thoughts you have had. Who are these Jedi who survived the Jedi Civil War? They're not the Jedi I know, the ones I once worshipped. They are cowards, and doubters, and afraid. What manner of Jedi hide from a threat? Who turn on their own, and imprison them on dead worlds?
I'm not sure that, yeah, I wonder if maybe worshipping the Jedi, kind of getting that hero worship and thinking that, like, all Jedi are some sort of superhumans, not just in physical ability and whatnot, but that they're, like, pinnacles of virtue. That may have been part of your problem. That, if that's what you're upset about, that, like, oh, they didn't live up to the expectations I had, that seems like that's partially your expectations were not realistic. It's one thing to have ideals, it's another thing to say that, like, oh, I viewed these people as, perfection, and because they didn't live up to that, it's okay for me to, just slaughter them all and create my own thing, which is still not going to be perfect. Yeah. Atris, you are responsible for the murder of an entire planet. What were the Jedi doing on KotOR? Yeah. Can we at least agree on that? That you... Which is actually somewhat parallel to my situation. We destroyed Malachor 5, or had it destroyed on our orders. Maybe there's some of that. Maybe we're going to have to come to terms with that a little bit more. I thought we discussed it with Beodur, but, it still might have been a little bit of a cop-out. So, here, some common ground. Murdering an entire planet. Let's discuss that.
As are we both. You, who brought the screams of Malachor to the galaxy, do not preach to me. You lead by example, you always have. You knew what was necessary at Malachor 5, and the stakes in this war are higher than you know. It is a war of extermination, of total annihilation.
I mean, that's not completely unfair, although by leading by example, it's possible, as I know others have said, I thought you said as well, that was a bad example, as in you shouldn't have done that. You shouldn't follow that example. And I will also point out that when I killed all the Republic troopers and whatnot in order to kill the Mandalorians, I actually took out the foe with me. I didn't just get my side slaughtered and accomplish nothing. So, I guess there is that slight difference. And not that I'm trying to excuse it, just pointing out that, my plan succeeded and yours completely failed, even though you're trying to pretend that it's still going to succeed. But what were the Jedi doing on KotOR?
They hoped to gather, to use their combined knowledge of the Force to see, to listen to the currents of the galaxy. They hoped to find out what was happening to the Jedi, why they were dying, and they discovered it. It revolved around you, as it always has. It is you who have tried to end us.
Me? Yeah. No, I guess the Sith did kind of figure out this, it sounds like, from hearing about me or studying me or something. But yeah, I haven't been trying to kill everybody. That has not been my intention.
Yes. From the destruction of KotOR, a vision emerged. It is the last act the Jedi were able to perform before the planet was destroyed. So that is why I arranged for you to return to the Republic, so that I might draw the Sith out and end them.
Well, because the plan worked so brilliantly the first time. But that makes no sense. Why me?
Is it not obvious? You are one of the Sith, fallen at Revan's side. The path to them lies through you.
Oh. Atris, have you seen my character sheet? I am so blue, I am actually above the bar. I am totally not Sith. So that makes no sense. I'm not allied with these Sith. Then the Jedi were fools, and even as death approached, they were blind. Not fine. Yeah, I'm not allied with these Sith, Atris.
The pronouncement on KotOR was clear, and you are the key. And look, you have come to battle me, Sith versus Jedi, as was intended.
Sith versus Jedi, I will grant you, but I feel there's a deep irony in that proclamation. Um, so, what was this pronouncement on KotOR? Let's maybe hear that.
It was a vision. It showed you, standing upon the many battlegrounds of the Mandalorian Wars. The Duxan jungles, the destroyed cities of Onderon. Whatever this threat we faced, it was from something you had done, and like all things would return to you. All echoes do.
That vision means nothing, just like all cryptic Jedi visions. Or if it showed the future, then there is only one such possibility. That could have been the past. The future, it could mean anything. I will not fight you, sir. I mean, if it showed the future, then of course, I think the implication is that... I guess what we're getting at is that, like, yeah, I'm totally going to win this fight if you saw me in the future doing this. But, of course, these... it could have also been the past. It could be the future, and could mean anything in that... I'm guessing what that's getting at is a lot of the places we've been to have been Mandalorian Wars battlegrounds. Duxan and Onderon, Telos, Korriban, I think, wasn't part of the Mandalorian Wars, or at least it wasn't destroyed by the Mandalorian Wars. Dantooine, I'm not sure if there was fighting on Dantooine. I know that's not when it was destroyed, but Mandalorians may have gotten there. But regardless, that could have even been a vision of our current journey. So yeah, past, future could mean anything.
No, behind it all was a terrible echo. The Jedi on KotOR did not realize the significance of this. They had not stood in judgment of you so long ago. They had not heard the same echo I did when you stood before us, and when we cast you into exile.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. The KotOR incident was well after the judgment, so... Yeah, Atris, that's even less of an excuse for you to follow and do what you had judged me for. What is the echo? That vision on KotOR, was it the future or the past? I don't think that's necessarily relevant, and I'm not even sure that those two options are mutually exclusive. Visions can sometimes be kind of odd that way, and simultaneously show past and future. I guess as I'm thinking of visions in general in many like fantasy and space fantasy type books, not sure if I can think of specific examples from Star Wars, but yeah, what is the echo? Let's talk about that.
Of course, you still do not know. The Jedi Council was not sure you would believe them if they told you, and I'm not sure they fully believed it themselves. It is why they wanted to exile you. So there, beyond the Outer Rim, you would come at last to hear that echo, and understand what happened. It was why you deserved death, and why I wished you executed.
They wanted me to go to the Outer Rim and hear this echo, and understand why they did everything. And they didn't think to tell me this? They were just kind of hoping I would go out there and be like, huh, there's an echo out here. Oh, that must be why I was exiled, and why Atris wanted me killed. Also, I kind of got the feeling you wanted me executed because of the personal betrayal that you felt or something. But maybe I just misinterpreted the situation. But what is the echo? Yeah, let's not dodge the question, Atris.
It is the sound of life in agony. It is a wound in the Force that has yet to close. War, destruction. These events leave wounds in the galaxy, in all life. The death of one can send echoes through hundreds, even thousands, across many planets. If not checked, then it spreads until nothing is left. Something that you had done in the past has caused this new threat, this death of all Jedi, and you were responsible for it. It was only proper that you be brought back to face your crime. You had killed countless Jedi once. The deaths of more Jedi were not beyond you.
I had nothing to do with the deaths of the Jedi following the Mandalorian Wars. But I did nothing! Vision of KotOR was the future of the past. Okay. had nothing to do with with the deaths of the Jedi after the Mandalorian Wars.
If you were responsible for the threat, then you would answer for it. If not, then you would draw the Sith from hiding so that they might be defeated. Either way, you deserved your fate.
Wait, so whether I'm responsible or not, you had already decided I... Okay, that sounds less like a plan to judge me and more like you're trying to justify your own actions there. Okay. I guess we'd be getting to this... have to get to this point. Okay, the vision, was it the future or the past?
It may have been both. The past,
that's what I said.
future, both linked. The only aspect of the vision that was certain was you.
Okay, and so from this vision that may have been past or future, that all you can really draw from it is, hey, it's something about this guy. What you got from that was, we need to exile him, or no, you wanted to execute me. Everybody else wanted to exile. No, this wasn't... No, this would be after our exile, so this wouldn't have been the cause of that. But what you got from it is that, hey, we were right to exile you, and then, okay, the now sending us out to get the other Jedi and gather them, that's the plan you're talking about from wanting to draw the Sith out. Okay, yeah. I'm tracking with you now. So, I've heard enough, prepare to die, or no, I will not fight you. Surrender, and I will spare you.
Surrender? To you? Never. Let us end this.
Okay. I'm warning you, you're gonna get thrown around a lot unless this room makes you a lot stronger or something. Hey, don't do that. Did you poison me? Don't poison me. Now I have to heal myself. Okay. There you go. Ow! Yeah. Stop doing that. Knock you down again. Okay.
Kill me. End this.
Seriously, Adrian, you thought that you were going to take on the entirety of the Sith by yourself. I'm sorry. I don't mean to like rub salt in the wound, but that is, wow. The sheer arrogance combined with cluelessness of that. Wow. I mean, granted, I pretty much think the same thing about myself, but as with Malachor versus your thing on KotOR, I can back it up and you can't. So, you know, there's that. See, I will not kill a helpless opponent, Atris. After everything you've done, I'm not letting you off that easy. We're very well prepared to die. No, I'm not going to kill you, Atris.
I did not expect mercy from you, here at the end, after all that has happened between us.
Okay. We have greater problems, Atris, and there has been enough killing. That is where we are different. I need answers, and I need them now. Actually, I was lying. Prepare to die. That would be the most pointless lie, like, possible. I feel like that would get a lot of dark side points just because there is absolutely nothing to be gained from that. There's no way that you could try to justify that as like, well, I was lying to get, like, not even to, it wouldn't even benefit me. I can't even claim that like I was getting something out of it. That would, wow. No, we have greater problems, and there's been enough killing. You can still, you know, turn back to the light side, Atris, complete your Jedi training, and then we can all stand together against the Sith. You be quiet.
If you will not kill me, then what will you do?
Okay. Did you not hear that? Was that just me? What happened to you? Can you tell me where the Sith are striking from? Tell me where Kreia is. Or, actually, I was lying. Prepared it. I mean, okay, if we interrogate her and then did that, then that might have some amount of point because, like, okay, yes, I was only keeping you alive to get information from you. Still seems like that'd be pretty dark side, though. Okay, can you tell me where the Sith are striking from? Let's do that. Or personal. Now, let's... I think we need to hash this out first. What happened to you?
This knowledge of the Sith and the Jedi is what I am. It is my attempt to hold on to the past, to try and protect the future.
Okay. I think perhaps we've both been guilty of such things. Or it was not your responsibility. Sith knowledge is forbidden, and there is a reason it is kept safe. And that is why you gathered these Sith relics? Do we know these are Sith relics because they're red? I mean, presumably the Sith voice shouting at us indicates that at least one is a Sith relic. But if all of these are Sith relics, that does kind of raise the question of, like, why only Sith relics and no Jedi relics? You know, Atris, I think perhaps we've both been guilty of such things. We've both tried to hold on to the past for the sake of protecting the future. We've both killed entire planets. You know, it happens.
Once I was a historian, the chronicler of the Jedi, and when both wars passed me by, I was determined that I would not forsake battle again. In some part of me, I knew I had made choices, compromises, but always for the sake of the Republic, of the galaxy. To do what you had done, at times, did not seem so wrong.
Would not let battle pass me by again. So you really do value battle, and maybe didn't fully disagree. Maybe that's why she felt we betrayed her, at least to some extent, because we did what she couldn't or wouldn't. I also wonder if maybe that's something to do with I think she's Achani, isn't she? At least, like, everybody here is learning the Achani styles and whatnot, so I'm assuming Atris is Achani, and maybe that has something to do with her culture. The like, oh, I couldn't stand that I got left behind when the fighting started because, you know, my oaths to the Jedi were all like, no, I'm not going to go and fight. But to do what we did, at times did not seem so wrong. It never does until you realize you've lost your connection with everything else, like quite literally by getting kicked out of the Force. Like the literal Force, not the armed forces. Everything that occurred at Malachor, everything that occurred in the war was because there was no other choice. Or can you tell me where the Sith are striking from? Tell me where Krayt is. I mean, I think we've kind of defended our position, of, like, our decision to do what we did at Malachor, but at the same time, you know, emulating that's probably not a good idea, and we did lose quite a bit, so yeah. Atris, doing that, I know it doesn't seem wrong, but then you realize you've lost your connection with everything else, and so don't try this at home. You know.
You're right. The Jedi were all that seemed left to me, and yet I had become so far removed from them that I betrayed them.
Exactly. So, now that we've gotten that handled, can you tell me where the Sith are striking from? I wasn't asking you. Or you.
You always knew where they were striking from. You always knew. These Sith are spawned of you. Spawned by the Mandalorian Wars. All those deaths. All those Jedi. Their power is to feed on life. Until nothing is left except a hollow galaxy, echoing with the screams of the Jedi lost to us.
Okay. Is that where Krayt is gone? Or I've heard enough. The matter is finished. Yeah, is that where Kreia is?
Yes. I had thought she was awaiting me at that place, but I see now that she lied. It was not meant for me, but for you. She has gone there. She is waiting for you to travel to Malachor 5, to finish what you started.
I mean, in all likelihood, if you had managed to kill me, uh, the it's possible it might have killed her as well, given the connection between us. But, so she's waiting at Malachor 5 to finish what I started. What I started? What happened? We already heard what happened. So what I started.
Yes, you are an echo in the Force. A hollow space where it has been wounded. It takes a great act of destruction to create such emptiness. But it can be done. It creates places where the Force is difficult to hear, and difficult to find one's way. And you carry it with you, always.
So what does this have to do with Kreia?
Now she seeks to create another echo, a wound in the Force. Greater than the one before, greater than the one you caused. It will deafen all touched by the Force until no life is left. You were strong enough to withstand it once, but few have your strength in such matters, especially if they are unprepared.
She wants to deafen all touched by the Force until no life is left. Is that killing all Jedi and Sith, or would that kill everybody? Because technically the Force is in all living things. So okay, that's bad. She's not out to conquer, she's out to just destroy. Why would Kreia do that?
I do not know, but she needs you there. If you choose not to follow, she will murder herself at the heart of Malachor, and you will die along with her.
Why? But if Kreia is Sith, why would she do such a thing? Kreia is Sith, and she is strong in the Force. She would not forsake it or threaten it. Who is Kreia? The why or the who? Let's... Do you know anything about who Kreia is? Maybe that'll help us. Maybe if we hear that, we'll learn more about the why.
She is one of the Lords of the Sith, one of those who murdered the Jedi, and she holds the death of the galaxy in her hands.
How's that possible? Or what? Stop asking what happened to her. We already know that. We already heard that. How is this possible?
Because she has gone to Malachor. She is waiting for you there. But you will not survive, Telos. Nothing will. It is because the greatest of her apprentices comes to Telos, and he will destroy everything, just as he destroyed KotOR and all the Jedi gathered there.
Okay, so the other Sith are coming to Telos. Well, I kind of get the feeling we probably will survive, not just because this is a video game and we're going to go through this, but because if Kreia set all this in motion, I don't think she would have done so if she needs us to be at Malachor 5 and thought that we weren't going to survive the Sith coming here. So I'm pretty sure at least Kreia thinks that we'll survive the Sith. Or maybe she has it set up where if the Sith kill us, like she can... We were told that if we refuse to come, she'll kill herself, and that'll kill us, and that'll accomplish what she seeks. But maybe it'll work the other way. If we die here, and she'll be like sense that she's gonna die and can still get... I don't know. Either way, I still think that Kreia probably has a bit more faith in us than you do. But then again, I think we've already learned not to really trust Atris's judgment too much. So I've heard enough. The matter's finished.
And what will you do with me now? Abandon me here on this dead world, or end my life as I wish to end yours?
I will do nothing except tell you that I am sorry. I did not realize that the Mandalorian Wars would hurt others that had known me and cared for me. I need you to see what you have become and turn away from it. You will answer for your crimes before the Council, and then you shall return to your prison. Well, I think right now Atris kind of is the council, so not really sure that's a much of a viable option. You must return to your prison, Atris, and leave the battles to those who have the strength to fight them. I shall leave you here to these holocrons. They are Sith, and they do not abide failure. Yeah, they might hiss at you in some garbled language some more, and you wouldn't be able to stand that now, would you? Or I don't know, maybe she actually understands it, and maybe hearing them is like the worst thing possible or something. So, see, I kind of want her to urge her to turn away from what she's become. I also kind of want to apologize to her, but I think, like, I do feel sorry that, like, I didn't realize doing all this would affect everybody else. Which seems to kind of be a theme in this game almost, of stuff affecting other people. But that in itself, like, hearing that we're sorry doesn't really persuade her to turn away from it. It's just like, well, I am what I am now. It's my, or you are what you are now. It's my fault, and that's that. But maybe if we can urge her, like, yeah, you've fallen, but you can step back up. You can complete your Jedi training. That's all there is to it. Yeah, come on, Atris. Stop being a Sith and become a Jedi again.
I tied my life, my decisions to the Jedi. Perhaps only in separating myself from the Jedi can I become myself again. Learn who I am. Perhaps exile is what I deserve, even though it is many years too late and you have already returned.
Exactly. Couldn't have said it better myself.
Leave now, while you can. Save Telos. Save the galaxy. Save yourself.
Well, I wouldn't go that far.
No, I could not bring myself to tell him. It would have changed nothing. And because I was afraid. You know what lies at the heart of Malachor 5. I had thought it was in the past, yet it has become the future. And all that has happened there will happen again. And that is why I cannot bear it. Because it is Malachor 5. And because I love him. I do not understand why the Sith permit such teachings to exist. They cause only echoes, wounds in the Force. A beacon? For who?
You came for me. I thought I had lost you.
Oh, hey, you're doing better. Glad to see that. Well, I was a little late, but better late than never. I decided to play it a little close. For a minute there, I thought I'd lost you. I'm sorry, I came as quickly as I could. Tell me what happened to Kreia, now. I don't know. Better late than never might not be the most sensitive thing to say when she was literally almost executed. Like, no, if we had been too late, that it might have been better off just not to come at all, like, as far as she's concerned, at least. So, yeah, sorry, I did get here as quickly as I could. I'm going to blame Atten because he was flying, and you know how he is.
Kreia. She said the council had ended you, and all along she was one of those who had sought to kill us.
Both carry their truth, in a way. Kreia has told many lies, and the architecture is difficult to see. Yeah, I'm still kind of trying to figure out exactly what her overall plan is here. Yes, we need to deal with one crisis at a time. Are you alright? Before I punish you, tell me why you disobeyed me. Yeah. No, okay. First things first, you alright? You were kind of on the ground, couldn't interact with you at all, not even to, like, check your pulse or anything, so it was a little bit worrying. You should be standing. There's lots of chairs around if you need a seat.
When I heard her say that you were dead, I failed you. I let my emotion run through me and I acted without thinking. I wanted to punish her, hurt her, see her answer for what she had done to the Jedi, for leading you to the Council.
Okay. Yep, so you kind of turned a little to the dark side there. Not sure if that's a full fall, but we can turn away from that. We can call that the falling part of your training. So even though we're technically not training you as a Jedi, just as a non-Jedi light Force user, calm yourself. I'm here. It's all right. It's all right. Don't dwell on it. We will take action, all in its proper time. Well, it's lucky for her I don't die so easily, or you'd wreck half the galaxy in revenge. This part is over. We must focus on the next battle. Or be silent. I have no time for your emotional displays of weakness. Your anger is strength, and it is a weapon, as you now know. Apparently I was not watching her fighting the others, because no, anger was not her strength. She running around and getting a hit in here and there was her strength. So, yeah. Let's see. So yeah, you were all upset at Kreia. You were like angry, just wanted to kill her and see your answer for it. But yeah, it's all right. Don't dwell on it. We'll take action, all in its proper term. Let's focus on that.
Of course. Forgive my display. I am the last of the handmaidens no longer. I am Brianna, disciple of the last of the Jedi, and the one who will stand with you against all enemies who face us.
Okay. Then let's get to it. We've got a planet to save. It is good to hear your name. Yeah, didn't we ask a few times and you were like, yeah, I'm just the handmaiden. That's my entire name. So, yeah, good to hear it.
It is good to hear it after so long.
Oh. Seems like an abrupt end to the... Assuming we're on there and it's not just T3 running off without us again. Even their ship seems like it's just falling apart, decaying. Okay, and there was a shuttle. Oh, we're controlling HK47. So I think we're going to be ending soon, so I'm not really going to get too much into this. We'll save here, and this will probably be where we end for tonight. But I think what's going on, of course, we have the mod that restores a lot of cut content, and there was HK's dialogue path where he was talking about the other HK droids and whatnot that seemed to kind of end abruptly, and we didn't have any more to it. I'm guessing, we'll find out more next week, but I'm guessing that's basically what this is, that this is meant to be kind of the culmination of that, where HK is like tracked down, okay, we're going to go destroy these pretender HK51 units. And the reason we haven't had any... I'm not certain of that, but I think that's what's going on, and it seems kind of jarring because, again, this was content that had been created, it had been cut out of the game, but the files were still there, and so people were able to restore it to the game. But because it was never fully implemented, there were probably bits and pieces that they didn't record, or that they hadn't developed yet, and so as people were trying to put it back in the game, they put it back to make sure that it works, and wanted to make sure that it worked and wouldn't break the game and that you could actually get something out of it. But they didn't like create entire new portions of the game to tie it together. So if there were parts in the middle that didn't really fit, they just kind of left it as it was. I think that's also why sometimes we've been seeing dialogue that seems to refer to something that we've heard before, or that we should have heard before and we didn't hear it before. Sometimes it might be that we just missed a dialogue option, but some of that could be cut content that they just never added in the earlier scene. So again, I think that's what's happening here. If that is the case, that will be rather nice to actually see some resolution to HK47's story, because I remember thinking at the time that it was a bit of a shame that the story just seemed to cut off there, and like, okay, well, I guess at some point HK is gonna go do his thing. It'll be nice to actually see that. And I think that might also be why the when we were discussing with the handmaiden, we're like, oh, hey, you have a name, and she's like, yeah, it's great to hear that name, and then it suddenly cut to the ship. That particular bit of dialogue might have also been a cut content thing, and they didn't really have the content to tie that together, and somebody didn't have it like just get out of the conversation and have us walk to the ship or something. I don't know, but I'm guessing that's why it happened that way and kind of jumped around. I'll also be interested to see seeing the Sith ship and seeing it all battle damaged and with the with the arcing electricity and everything, presumably from cables that are exposed, and putting that together with the earlier cutscene where we saw the Sith officers, whatever they were, on board the ship, all seeming very pale and corpse-like. I kind of get the feeling we're supposed to be like, this is not. It's very different from Revan and Malak's creating a brand new fleet to go conquer the galaxy. These are Sith that are sucking the life out of everything, including even their own crew and ship. I think it seems to be kind of the implication of what's going on. I doubt they're actually physically damaging the ship, since that doesn't run on the Force, but it seems like kind of leaving it in that condition is sort of helping highlight that visually. So that'll be interesting. I'm assuming next time we'll be playing HK, hopefully seeing more of his storyline, and then probably taking on the Sith and trying to stop them from destroying Telos before going and facing Kreia. And that, depending on how long that takes, I don't know how much dialogue there is, and of course dialogue might take a while if we get into philosophical discussions with some of the Sith Lords or something, and I'm sure facing Kreia is going to be a long bit of talking, but it's possible that we might actually finish next time. So, and speaking of which, I think I'll be here next week, but I'll check, and by Monday I'll be able to probably say for certain if I plan to be here, and I'll we'll figure that out later. So I should be here Monday, and Friday I think I'll be here, but I need to check on some stuff first. So with that, thank you for coming along. Have a good week, and I'll see you next time.